Night had fallen over the old boarding school. The air was heavy, thick with moisture, and every wall seemed to breathe. Somewhere outside, the wind whispered through the trees. The silence was so deep, it felt alive. This is the story of a woman, a teacher. Her name was Madame Koi Koi. She always wore red heels, bright, polished, and beautiful. Each step she took echoed through the halls. Koi, Koi, Koi. The students feared her, yet no one dared speak. She was strict, cold, and merciless, but she taught well, and the headmistress respected her. Until one day, everything changed. A girl came forward with a trembling voice. "She hit me," she said. "She slapped me until I bled." The principal summoned Madame Koi Koi. The entire staff gathered. The girl cried. Madame stood still, her face blank, her eyes sharp. "I did nothing," she said. "That girl lies." That night she left the school. No one saw her again. Some said she quit. Some whispered she died on her way home. Others said something darker, that she never left at all. Because a few nights later, when the dorm lights went out and the school fell silent, a sound began to echo in the halls. Koi, koi, koi. At first distant, then closer, then right outside the dorm room door. The girls would pull their blankets tight, hearts pounding, praying it would stop. And sometimes it did. Other times it didn't. Because if you heard her heels and looked up, you'd see her. A woman in red shoes, a pale, twisted face, and a smile that didn't belong to the living. They say her spirit returned, searching for the one who accused her. And until she finds her, she walks the hallways every night. Koi, koi, koi. Her red heels tapping through the darkness, reminding everyone that she was never really gone. This isn't just a story. It's a warning. If you ever hear that sound in the dark, whatever you do, don't look back. A week had passed since the night of the strange sounds. The teachers said it was rats in the ceiling. The matron said it was the wind. But the girls knew better, because the footsteps never stopped. Every night, just after midnight, the sound began again. Koi, koi, koi. Slow, heavy, steady. Sometimes it moved down the hall, sometimes it stopped right outside a dorm room. One night, a girl named Chiamaka swore she saw a red shadow glide past her bed. When she screamed, the lights flickered and the sound vanished. After that, no one dared to sleep. The matron decided to patrol the halls herself. She carried a flashlight and a Bible. "No ghost can frighten me," she said, trying to sound brave. That night, the storm hit. Thunder cracked over the roof. The rain hit the windows like gravel. The matron walked down the corridor, light trembling in her hand. Then it came again. Koi, koi, koi. The sound was sharp now, cutting through the rain. She called out, "Who's there?" No answer, only the sound of heels, coming closer. Koi, koi, koi. The matron raised her light and froze. A figure stood at the end of the hall, a woman in a blood-red dress. Her face pale and cracked as if made of porcelain. Her hair hung wet, covering half her face, and on her feet, red heels glistening under the flickering bulb. The matron whispered, "Jesus, help me." The woman tilted her head. Her lips curved into a faint smile. Then, slowly, she took a step forward. Koi, koi, koi. The matron screamed. The light went out. By morning, she was found unconscious on the floor, the Bible torn beside her. She never returned to work. The headmistress tried to silence the rumors. She threatened to expel any girl who talked about Madame Koi Koi. But fear spread like fire. Some girls fainted in class. Others refused to enter the bathroom alone. One said she saw a red handprint on her bedsheet. Another claimed to have heard a woman humming in the toilet stall. And every night, the sound returned. Koi, 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 until the whole dorm began to whisper her name. Madam Koi Koi. They said if you spoke her name 3 times after midnight, she would appear behind you, smiling, bleeding, waiting. No one wanted to believe it. But one curious girl did, and that's when the nightmare truly began. Her name was Ifeoma, 14 years old, bright, fearless. She laughed at ghost stories and called them village tales. But fear always tests the brave first. That night, while the others prayed before bed, Ifeoma whispered the name. Once, twice, 3 times. Madame Koi Koi. The room fell still. Even the wind outside stopped. The lights flickered, then came the sound. Koi, koi, koi. Soft at first, like a distant echo, then louder, closer. The other girls hid under their blankets, trembling. Ifeoma sat up, eyes wide, pretending not to be scared. "It's just the wind," she whispered. But the sound didn't move like the wind. It moved like footsteps, precise, heavy, human. Koi, koi, koi. A shadow passed the window, then another. Someone, or something, was walking in the corridor. Ifeoma stood, her heart pounding. She walked toward the door, one cautious step at a time. The wooden floor creaked beneath her feet. When she reached the door, the sound stopped. Silence. She opened it just a little. The corridor was empty, lit only by the moonlight filtering through the broken windows. The air smelled strange, like perfume mixed with something rotten. Then she saw it. At the far end of the hall stood a pair of red heels, perfectly still, shining, wet. Ifeoma gasped and stepped back. The heels moved, slowly. Koi, koi, koi. A woman stepped forward from the shadows. Her dress was deep red, her hair long and soaked, her face pale and cracked. Her smile was wrong, too wide, too human to be human. "Why did you call me?" she whispered. Ifeoma screamed. The door slammed shut by itself. The lights went out. The whole dorm woke to her cries. By the time they opened the door, she was gone. Only a red shoe print remained on the floor, and that faint smell of blood and perfume. From that night on, no one dared say the name again. But the sound never stopped. Every night after midnight it returned, wandering, searching, haunting. Koi, koi, koi. The teachers tried to pray. The priest came. Holy water was sprinkled. Nothing worked, because Madame Koi Koi wasn't just a ghost. She was vengeance, and she wasn't done yet. The school tried to move on, but fear had already taken root. Every corridor felt colder. Every whisper echoed like a warning. The night after Ifeoma vanished, the dormitory changed. It began with the lights. They flickered every few minutes as if something was draining their power. Then came the smell, sweet perfume, the kind Madame Koi Koi used to wear. At first, the girls thought it was their imagination. Until one night, Ngozi woke up to the sound of humming, a soft, low lullaby drifting through the dorm. She turned and saw a Daisy sitting up in her bed, eyes open but empty. Her lips moved, whispering the same tune over and over. Ngozi shook her. "Daisy, wake up!" Daisy didn't move. Her voice deepened. "Red shoes, she murmured again and again. Then her body went still. Moments later, the sound of heels echoed in the hallway. Koi, koi, koi. Every girl in the dorm froze. The air grew icy, heavy, suffocating. Daisy suddenly sat upright again. This time, she wasn't herself. Her head tilted to the side, her smile too wide, her eyes rolled back. "Why did you bring her back?" she whispered in a voice that wasn't hers. Ngozi stumbled back, crying. Daisy climbed down from her bed, her movements stiff, unnatural. Each step she took matched the sound outside. Koi, koi, koi. Her bare feet hit the floor, yet the echo was of high heels. The other girls screamed. Some hid under blankets, others ran to the matron's room. But when the matron arrived, a daze was gone. The window open, the curtains moving in the cold air. On the wall, written in red, were the words, "She walks with me now." That night the principal called for priests. They prayed through every corridor, sprinkled holy water, burned incense, and chanted. For a while it seemed peaceful. The next 2 nights were silent. But on the 3rd night the power went out again, and through the darkness came that sound. Slower this time, deeper, deliberate. Koi, koi, koi. In every dorm room the girls heard it at once. In every mirror a flash of red appeared, and in one corner of the dormitory the figure of Madame Koi Koi stood, her red heels glistening, her eyes glowing faintly. She looked at the girls, raised her hand, and whispered, "Not all of you will see the morning." The screams echoed long into the night. But the next morning no one spoke, because one bed was empty, and on the pillow lay a single red shoe. The next morning, fear had turned to chaos. Parents stormed the gates, demanding their daughters back. The headmistress stood pale and trembling, clutching her rosary. No one spoke the name anymore, but everyone knew it. Madame Koi Koi. The archdiocese finally sent a priest, Father Dominic. He was old, calm, and carried a leather Bible with pages yellowed by time. He listened to the headmistress's story in silence, then said only one thing. Evil doesn't appear from nowhere. Someone invited her. That night he stayed in the dormitory. He placed candles along the floor, drew a small cross with chalk, and prayed in Latin until the walls seemed to breathe with his words. At midnight the wind stopped, the candles flickered, and then came the sound. Koi, koi, koi. Father Dominic opened his eyes. The girls who had been forced to sleep there shivered under their blankets. The sound moved closer, from the corridor to the door, from the door to the middle of the room. The priest raised his Bible. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The candles blew out. Darkness swallowed everything. A woman's voice echoed, sharp and angry. "You left me to die." Lightning flashed through the window. For a single second, the priest saw her. Madame Koi Koi, her face torn, one eye hollow, blood running from her mouth. He held his cross forward. "Leave this place," she screamed. The walls shook, every mirror in the room shattered. Girls cried and covered their ears. Then came another sound, a second voice, soft, childlike. "I didn't mean to lie." It was the voice of the girl who had accused Madame Koi Koi years ago, a truth hidden under silence. She had confessed before her death. The slap never happened. The accusation had been revenge for punishment. But no one ever told Madame Koi Koi. Her spirit had died with injustice. The priest understood then. Her ghost wasn't pure evil. It was pain, bound to the place of her humiliation. He stepped closer. "You were wronged, but your anger keeps you chained. Be free." Madame Koi Koi stopped moving. Her red heels turned to dust. For the first time, she didn't make a sound. The wind returned, sweeping through the dormitory, blowing out the last of the candles. When the light came back, she was gone. Only a faint red stain remained on the floor, the shape of a heel. The priest left before dawn, exhausted. He told the headmistress to close the dormitory for good. The school shut down a month later. Years passed. The building still stands, empty and forgotten. Sometimes locals claim to hear it, faint and distant, echoing through the ruins at night. Koi, 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 just 3 steps. Then silence, as if she still walks there, waiting for the next girl who dares to call her name. The end.